Good morning. My name is Sam McCann,
And I'm Eric Vito.
and our presentation is on the relocation of independent textiles via mechanized operating system.
Also known as MOM, the Machine Operated Make. Okay, so for the purpose of our project was to add time to my day and to add time to your day. Growing up with such a wonderful mom, I have learned that the best way to make her happy is to be clean. And sometimes, due to school, I get assigned loads of homework and I forget to clean my room. But with the machine-operated maid, I no longer have to worry about a cluttered room. The goals for this project was to program a Scribbler robot to scan a room, detect clothing, and distinguish between colored and non-colored clothes. And once detected, the Scribbler robot would move the piece of clothing to a designated area according to what color it is. Once it goes to the goal, it drops it off and repeats.
In order to accomplish these goals, we required a number of hardware and software. The first thing we used was the Scribbler robot, which is shown in the picture here, and we attached a foam cage to it because it's not actually designed to pick up clothes. Connected to the Scribbler is a loop board, IPR loop board, which has a bunch of sensors on it, such as a camera and optical sensor. The camera is used so we can detect the type of clothing that we need to find, and the optical sensor is used so the Scribbler doesn't crash into walls. It's connected to the computer used through a Bluetooth dongle, so it wirelessly sends the program to the Scribbler so it can pick up clothes and do what it's designed to do. And to program, we use the Calico programming environment, which is coded through the Python language. And in the Calico programming environment, we use a library called the Miro library, which has a number of preset commands used that are compatible with the Scribbler and also helps us complete our goals.
Okay, so this is our the machine-operated maid. This is the fluke, which contains all the sensors that Sam said. This is the digital camera, which allows us to process images. This is the optical sensor, which allows the robot to detect how far or how near an object is to it. And these three pieces we added on, so the robot can have a way to move and drag clothes. This piece in particular was extremely important because without it, the Scribbler robot would trample over the clothes rather than pushing it.
Okay, so we had to program a separate task for the robot so it can accomplish this. The first thing we had to do was make it move around the room randomly in order to find the piece of clothing. Also, we had to make sure that the robot can actually detect the piece of clothing because it can take a picture, but it can't recognize the clothing. So we had to distinguish it using the colors black and white. The white would be the environment and the black would be the clothing. So once it detects black, it will be able to sense where the clothing is. And once it does that, it'll pick it up and then it'll try to look for the laundry basket, or in this case, we're using a blue square to represent the laundry basket. So it'll also do a similar thing where we programmed it to follow the goal, and then once it heads to the goal, it'll go to the goal, and then once it goes to the goal, it'll drop off the piece of clothing, it'll back up, and then it'll repeat the process to find more clothing.
Okay, so here's a small sample of our code. And over here we defined a variable called mom. And what this variable does is for all the colors other than white, it changes to black. And for that doesn't include blues, so because blues represents the amber. And the reason for doing this is so that the Scribbler robot could detect images easier. And this part of our code right here is for when it detects a black pixel, it will go to the black clothing and move right so that it can pick up the piece of clothing. So we have our demo. Okay, so this is the blue piece of paper, which represents an amber. This is the machine-operated maid, and this is the piece of clothing. So here it detects the piece of clothing, detects the wall, makes it right, goes forward, detects the wall again, makes it left, goes to the amber, detects the blue, backs up, and repeats.
Although we worked with the Scribbler before, we learned a lot more things working with it again. We learned how to do image processing effectively, which is where we actually make it recognize a sock and make sure that it can detect black and white separately. And once it detects some object, we also made it program so it can head towards the object and close the distance between it.
Okay, so Doing this project had many challenges, and one of the challenges was that we had to create an apparatus to actually move the piece of clothing. And it may look simple, but it was actually really hard because we had to make it an exact length so that the Scribbler robot could detect the objects in front of it. Another challenge we had was the camera sometimes had bad quality, and it couldn't actually detect small clothing because it wasn't in range. So what we had to do was program the Scribbler robot to detect pixels at a certain area of the picture, and that's how we did it.
Additionally, depending on the size and shape of the room that the Scribbler is in, it would constantly go in circles and backtrack, so it would take a really long time to find a piece of clothing. And then once it does, it will still backtrack before it finds a laundry basket.
The machine operated maid can be applied to everyday life. Say that we go to school and you can just leave it on, and by the time you come home, your room will be clean. And this goes for parents also, because parents are sometimes messy. Or if they get mad at their children, they could just set the robot into their rooms and they will no longer be mad.